Good afternoon,
for his
friends.
special. Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, friends. Respected Lokesh Kasat ji, ex-chairman Jaipur branch, today's moderator Priya ji, speakers of today's session, my respective officer in COE, Manoj Agrawal ji, and friends. सबसे पहले तो आप सब लोगों को गणतंत्र दिवस की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं और really thankful to you that on even this holiday and this noon you are attending this session. So my sincere thanks to all of you. Friends, यदि आप particularly मेरी working देखेंगे तो मैं जब से काउंसिल में हूँ मेरी हमेशा कोशिश ये रही है कि हम मेंबर्स को जो आने वाला टाइम है उसकी तरफ डाइवर्ट करें, उनको पहले से अपडेट करें, पहले से उनको रिक्वेस्ट करें कि आप अपने आप को अपडेट कर लीजिए। इस रेफरेंस में मैंने 3 कॉन्फ्रेंसेज भी की। तीनों कॉन्फ्रेंसेज में आधे टॉपिक में वो रखता था जो कि ट्रेडिशनल होते थे, इस बहाने आप लोग आ जाते हो, और आधे टॉपिक वो रखता हूँ जो कि जिसकी मेरे को लगता है कि ये बहुत जरूरत है। जो फ्रेंड्स इस साल के एंड तक में हमारे प्रोफेशन में बहुत मेजर चेंज होने वाला है। 5G टेक्नोलॉजी का गवर्नमेंट अभी फरवरी मार्च में इसको ऑप्शन कर रही है और ईयर एंड तक में ये एप्लीकेबल होने वाली है, और इसके एप्लीकेशन होने से हमारे प्रोफेशन में बहुत मेजर चेंज आएगा। अभी जो हमारे प्रोफेशनल्स 3 तरह का काम करते हैं, वो कंप्लायंसेस का करते हैं, कंसल्टेंसी का करते हैं और लिटिगेशन का करते हैं। जो 5G टेक्नोलॉजी की एप्लीकेबल होने के बाद में जो हमारा कंप्लायंसेस का काम है वो जीरो हो जाएगा, वो बिल्कुल खत्म हो जाएगा। बहुत सारे पता है मेरे को, मैं यूज्ड टू हूँ सुनने का मेंबर्स को गालियां देंगे काउंसिल मेंबर्स को कि काउंसिल मेंबर्स कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इस चीज को समझने की जरूरत है कि जो इंफॉर्मेशन गवर्नमेंट के पास में आज ऑलरेडी है वो आपसे क्यों सर्टिफाई कराएगी, वो आपसे क्यों लेना चाहेगी। इस चीज को हमको समझना बहुत जरूरी है। और इवन आपको ध्यान हो तो पिछले साल मार्च एंड में एक सर्कुलर निकला था जो एमसीए ने निकाला था कि यदि आपका एसएससी कंपनी है तो उस कंपनी में जो भी अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर में पूरे साल भर में जो उसने चेंजेस किए हैं वो ऑडिट ट्रेल आपको रिपोर्ट करनी थी। वो 1 साल के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने उस डिसीजन को, उस सर्कुलर को पोस्टपोन किया है, लेकिन इस 31 मार्च के बाद में वो एप्लीकेबल होने वाला है। वो डायरेक्टली हमको इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि हमारा प्रोफेशन किस डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है। आने वाले टाइम में जो हमारी फाइनेंशियल ऑडिट है वो सिस्टम ऑडिट में कन्वर्ट होने जा रही है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है। जो आने वाले मैक्सिमम 1 साल में हमारे पास 2 तरह की ऑडिट बचेगी, एक तो सिस्टम ऑडिट होगी, दूसरा फॉरेंसिक ऑडिट होगी। जिसे हम फाइनेंशियल ऑडिट कहते हैं वो छोटी जो कंपनियां हैं, छोटे टर्नओवर वाली कंपनियां, वो सब तो अवेलेबल ही नहीं रहेंगी। जो ऑडिट बचेगी उसमें भी हमको जो इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए होगी वो इस तरह से चाहिए होगी कि जिसने सिस्टम ऑडिट की नॉलेज है वो उसको कंफर्टेबली कर पाएगा। इस रेफरेंस में ही हमने इंस्टीट्यूट लेवल पे 30 करोड़ रुपए सैंक्शन करे हुए हैं, और सॉफ्टवेयर है 4 जो कि हम चाह रहे हैं कि हमारे मेंबर्स को फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट दे दें, जो कि बहुत जरूरी है हमारे मेंबर्स के लिए। इस एनवायरनमेंट में जो आने वाला एनवायरनमेंट है उसमें अपने आप को सर्वाइव करने के लिए, तो उसमें हम पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अभी बहुत जल्दी आपके पास वापस हम ऑप्शन देने वाले हैं और आपसे पूछने वाले हैं कि जिसको भी ये सॉफ्टवेयर चाहिए हम फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट देंगे। तो मेरी सिंसियर रिक्वेस्ट एक तो आप सब लोगों को है कि उसको एक्सेप्ट करें और उनको कंफर्म करें, सो हम आप लोगों को अभी से पहले से अपडेट कर सकें, जो कि बहुत बहुत जरूरी है। आज जो टॉपिक है लोकेश जी, इसमें तो मैंने पढ़ा था ब्लॉकचेन और डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का, पर शायद आप इसमें क्रिप्टो करेंसी की बात करने जा रहे हो।
नहीं सर, ब्लॉकचेन का ही है बेसिकली। क्रिप्टो करेंसी तो सर थोड़ा सा है कि मेंबर्स का ये रिक्वेस्ट था कि क्रिप्टो करेंसी भी इसमें एक
इंक्लूड की
पार्ट रखा जाए।
क्रिप्टो करेंसी अभी ऑल ऑफ सडन उसमें बहुत ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस आए हैं, बहुत एकदम से नीचे आ गया है। अगर आप 45 से 50% उसकी वैल्यू कम हो गई है, और मेजरली हम लोग समझ भी नहीं पा रहे हैं कि क्या है। इनफैक्ट बहुत सारे देशों की जो गवर्नमेंट है इवन वो भी नहीं समझ पा रही है कि क्या करें क्या नहीं करें। वही हालत हमारे कंट्री की गवर्नमेंट की है कि वो अभी तक कॉल नहीं ले पाई है कि फाइनल हम इसमें क्या करें, कैसे करें, इसको कैसे कंट्रोल करें, उसके लिए कोई लॉज भी नहीं बना पाई है। यदि इसमें कोई, मेरे पास में कुछ ऐसे इंसिडेंट भी मेरे को ध्यान है इसमें कि कुछ लोगों ने फेक अकाउंट्स खोले और क्रिप्टो करेंसी के अकाउंट में पैसे ले लिए लोगों से, लेकिन उन्होंने उसमें पैसे जमा ही नहीं कराया था। तो उसके लिए अभी तक हमारे कोई कंट्री में लॉज नहीं है। जो आने वाला टाइम है फ्रेंड्स, जो मैं आपको बार बार रिपीट किए जा रहा हूँ, हमको इन सब चीज़ों की नॉलेज अपडेट रखना बहुत जरूरी है। और मैं पूरा कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ कि आज, क्योंकि लोकेश जी बहुत इसमें एडवांस रहते हैं कि सब क्या चेंजेस आ रहे हैं, ऐसे टॉपिक्स को लेके आते रहते हैं, खुद अपने आप को अपडेट करते रहते हैं। और आज ये इनकी टीम अपने साथ शेयर करेगी अपने बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक। मेरा मानना है ब्लॉकचेन डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन बहुत बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट फील्ड है। और बिलीव कीजिए फ्रेंड्स कि पिछले साल मई के महीने में मैंने 25 दिन पढ़ाई की है, और पढ़ाई करके बड़ी मुश्किल से सीसा का एग्जाम पास किया है। वो इसीलिए कि जो आने वाला टाइम है वो सिस्टम ऑडिट का है, उनमें इन सब चीज़ों की बहुत ज़रूरत होगी। तो अपन को भी सबको अपडेट रहना बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो अपन सब लोगों को ये सुनना है। आज बहुत अच्छे टॉपिक हैं जो कि हमारे प्रोफेशन से रिलेटेड डायरेक्टली हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। मेरे को पूरी आशा है कि अपन सब लोगों के लिए बहुत फायदेमंद होगा। थैंक यू, थैंक्स अ लॉट फ्रेंड्स।
Thank you so much, sir, for your special address to our members. Now I would like to introduce our speakers. Firstly, Neel Banker, sir. Neel Banker, sir, is an IT engineer currently managing the blockchain team of 40 plus great minds, also working with blockchain and cloud technologies on a day-to-day basis. He had done diploma in information technology, diploma in IS Math Java Head of BTech in IT, and pursuing MTech in IT. A second speaker is Parth Kaloliya, sir, who is a full-stack blockchain developer with more than 3 years of experience, worked on multiple blockchain platforms that includes Hyperledger, EOS, Ethereum, and Solana. He had carried out projects in multiple domains like financial, healthcare, entertainment, supply chain, etc. He is experienced in designing network architecture, writing smart contracts in Golang, Solidity, C++, Rust. He has done BCA from St. Xavier's Institute of Computer Application, MSc in IT, and he is a senior blockchain developer. A third speaker is Parthsarthy, sir. He is an analyst and technology enthusiast, proficient in Python and data analysis, have built applications in supply chain, documents verification, finance, art, and entertainment domain. Now I invite our speakers to take over the session and enlighten us with this topic. Over to the speakers.
Are we audible?
Yes, very much, very much.
Okay. So I hope you guys can see our screen as well.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, today as you well heard, our topic is blockchain and decentralization. And so to start with, let us give the view of the speakers. What we want to keep in mind is, so today cryptocurrencies have become really popular. It's like a buzzword more than anything else. Everyone's heard it. Everyone wants to know what's going on with it, right? So it is very similar to, if you guys have heard of the .com bubble. So during the time of 1995 to 2000 in US, due to the boom of internet, a lot of the stock prices of all these internet companies rose up to about 400%. And then within the next 2 years, they dropped by 78%. And almost 90% of those companies did not end up surviving that period. So only the companies that survived are the ones we consider as the biggest giants today, like Microsoft, Apple. These are the companies that end up coming out of that bubble, right? So that is very similarly the scenario with cryptocurrencies. So cryptocurrencies is very what's important with it is the technology behind cryptocurrency, that is blockchain. Okay, so now we'll try. So during this course of this this event, we'd like to let you understand about blockchain, then why blockchain is important, and where are the use cases where it is going to be used across every time. Okay. So what is blockchain today? So basically blockchain is like a distributed database shared amongst different nodes. So the idea is, so nodes are nothing but systems or computers which can provide some sort of computing power. Okay. And like if I try to, so if you guys Google online what is blockchain, you'll find a lot of definitions which use the words such as distributed, decentralized, immutable, right? But what it basically is, if we go ekdam general basic specifics, what it is in general, in your, like, since you guys, most of your CAs here, you guys have the concept of ledger. A blockchain is nothing but a ledger that is stored across many devices, and all the devices have the exact same copy of it. So in a ledger, you have pages. So here we have blocks in blockchain. And the idea is that as people make transactions, we make an entry into the block. Then once that entire block gets verified, it is pushed on the ledger. Similar to one page of transactions we have, we add it to the ledger. That is very similar to the idea of what blockchain is about. And why it is becoming so big, and why is because it is not, its structure is such that it is not controlled by one entity. So once something is published on blockchain, it does not get erased. It is going to be there, and it is always going to, as more and more nodes get created, each node will have the exact duplicate of that system. Okay, so that is basically what blockchain is about, and why we believe today blockchain is at the stage where everyone needs to know about it. Like Mr. Prakash sir was also saying that you guys have to know about this, is because it has so many domains that it can actually make a very big impact on, that in all professions, it's going to play some part. So even if you are not an expert in it, you do have to understand its basics to see how you can actually use it. Okay. I'd like to ask Mr. Parth Kaloliya to start.
Yeah, thanks, Parth. So, okay, this would be more of the, like types of blockchain, because blockchain comes into various types, where famous one is permissionless, that is a public blockchain. Permission, that is a private blockchain. We can keep it a simple term, private and public. So yeah, so this is a normal technical architecture of the entire blockchain types. Here you can see a public, hybrid, private, and consortium. I'll explain a very brief for each of these types. So starting with the starting with the public blockchain. So public blockchains are nothing but it's a like normal following normal rule by people for people, and that rule. So public blockchains are totally decentralized, because like no user has not control over any node, because like we don't know which node is running and who is running that particular node. Node is simply a normal server where our data is being stored, and like from that block is being generated and block is being added to the existing blockchain. So yes, public blockchains are decentralized. And yes, now coming into the private blockchains here, like furthermore bifurcates into two parts. One is the like a normal for the limited people, that is a like 5 or 7 people you can consider, and one is the consortium level. Consortium is something like for an entire organization. So you can so you are familiar with the organization, that like in organization there are many hierarchies available, where like a manager, director, board of directors, or something like that. So from that entire organization, anyone can become a node for that particular private blockchain. It is just like we don't have any control over the public blockchain, but yes, in private blockchain we do have a control over our blockchain, because like the genesis block, that means the first block of the blockchain, is the one who is created by that organization. So that is the first benefit of the private blockchain. But here again, it is like controlled by one particular entity. So like the centralized the rule of the centralization is there. So like it is somewhat vulnerable thing, because like at the end of the day it's a centralized. So yeah, and the classic example of the private blockchains are like hyperledger. And like hyperledger, it's a ultimate project. So, and it's an umbrella of an open source project where you can find a lots of Hyperledger other frameworks. Famous one is the Hyperledger Fabric. So, you know, like nowadays, many organization like financial organization or media industries are, you know, like inclined to use a private blockchain for their use case. Yeah, but can you please go to the next slide? Yeah, the consortium blockchain is, you know, like the again type of the one private blockchain. So it's, you know, like governed by a group of organizations. So suppose in one particular organization there are 5 to 7 main peoples who wanted to, you know, like govern entire organization. So they can become a node or they can become a validator. Validator is simply you know, like any transaction initiated in the blockchain. So like they just verify that particular transaction, whether the transaction is correct or not, whether that particular the transaction which is coming from that one particular user, that is a verified entity on the blockchain or not. So those kind of validations are being checked in the underhood process when, you know, like one transaction initiated in the blockchain network. So in the consortium blockchain, it is all about that. Hybrid blockchains are, you know, like the combination of the public blockchains and the private blockchains, where, you know, like where any user or any client wants to integrate something or wanted to display something on the public blockchain, but, you know, like they still wanted to you know, like want to database access to there. So that is what the hybrid blockchains come into the picture. It is a combination of, you can consider a decentralized and centralization. So that concept is very rare. Some blockchains are available in the market who facilitate hybrid blockchains. Now the main concept, the how blockchain brings decentralization. So yeah, in this slide you can consider you know, like transfer of control and decision making from the centralized entity. So centralized entity is something like, you can consider a admin of one particular organization. So admin can make any rule at the term defines admin. So like, you know, like he can govern entire organization, right? So that is the main point of the centralized organization, a decision making. But here decentralized, where a decentralized application, you know, like no decision making kind of thing, because, you know, like if you wanted to make any kind of decision, then you have to make a survey, or, you know, like you have to take a confirmation from all the peers that is being run on that particular public blockchains. So decentralized network strives to reduce the level of trust level, because, you know, like in centralized authority or centralized kind of application, we can consider a monolith application, because nowadays the application which you web applications you can consider, or any applications you are familiar with, that all applications are the centralized, because your data is being stored on somewhere on the databases, right? So we all have that one threat that, okay, what if my data is being stolen, or what if my, you know, like security breach happens and I can lost all my credentials. So those kind of threats, you know, like centralized authority applications. And yes, benefits of decentralized, yes, the first one is the very important trustworthy network environment. So, you know, like we can be safe that, you know, like first of all, blockchain itself, you know, like we have a question that, you know, like if blockchain stores a data, then what if a blockchain hacks, or someone hack our blockchain? So, you know, like that is a nearly impossible task, because, you know, like blockchain is a chain of data where a block where a one particular block attaches to existing chain. So like, you know, like if you wanted to manipulate the blockchain, so like we have to start from the very scratch, and that is the very time consuming process. So fraud prevention, faster transaction time. It is a like, you know, like the all the parties who acts as a mediator in the centralized process, in this decentralized what do you say, yeah, in the blockchain. So those parties will be removed. The transaction will be initiated for, you know, like sender and the receiver. That's it. No intermediate parties between involves for that particular transactions. Efficiency, store of value, because, you know, like as I mentioned, all the data is being stored in the encrypted value in the blockchain. So, you know, like and there are several encryption algorithm being used while, you know, storing the data, or while making the hash of that particular block. So yes, and that is a less sensitive of data. So once we store the data, so like we even don't know where my data is being stored on which particular block. All we receive is one transaction has. Yes, now I would like to Mr. Neel.
Sure. Hi everyone. So coming towards blockchain, other things on blockchain is identified as like cryptocurrency. So when blockchain terms is come, cryptocurrencies comes to the side by side. So you might be wondering, what is a cryptocurrency? It is nothing but a digital asset based on a network. Like if I'm having a certain amount of tokens that is like written on network. If you have a currency and that has a value because of RBI governs it. But in blockchain, the number of tokens has been governed by the smart contract. So a cryptocurrency is a form of a digital asset, like it's on a network, it's distributed across a large number of computers that are known as nodes in a blockchain. And the decentralized structures allow them to exist outside the control of the government and central authorities. So that is the main reason why Indian government is not allowing certain cryptocurrencies to be having for use of trades and all those stuff. So the advantages of cryptocurrencies includes cheaper and faster money transfers, and decentralized systems do not collapse at single point of failure, because of like we have a multiple nodes and they cannot have a single point of failure, because like if one node goes down, the secondary node or the backing up nodes or the other nodes in the blockchain comes up and doesn't let the network down. So the major disadvantage of cryptocurrency would be that like the price volatility, as you might have been aware, like in recent days, like the crypto market is currently in like a bear run, like it is broken down in like hundreds and thousands of dollars. So yeah, it is completely volatile and can be used in criminal activities. So the famous cryptocurrency all of you might be aware about is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a decentralized digital cryptocurrency that has been introduced in 2009 by a pseudonymous entity named as Satoshi Nakamoto. The identity of that person or persons or maybe a group of people is still unknown till date and is a mystery. So what Bitcoin offers is a promise of lower transaction fees that traditional online payment mechanism don't do. Unlike the government issued currencies are been operated by decentralized authorities. Like in this manner, what we can say, like if you're going on a sale, like going on a Flipkart, Myntra, or any other marketplace, you pay via any of the payment processes like UPI, your card payment, any integrations like Razorpay and all those things. So we can solve that issue and get rid of the middle persons with the use of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was launched in 2009. It was the world's largest cryptocurrency by the market capitalizations. Unlike fiat currency, Bitcoin is created, it is distributed, it is traded with all use of distributed ledger system known as blockchain. So Bitcoin was a key role to have this blockchain technology boom to the market, and that introduced us to the altcoins. Next slide, Parth, please. So what are the altcoins? So altcoins are like cryptocurrency that are other than Bitcoins, naming at Ethereum, BTC, USD. All those coins are renamed as altcoin. So they share the similar characteristics with the Bitcoin. Also, they are different in so many ways. They have some different consensus mechanisms and etc. So the term altcoin refers to the cryptocurrency that are other than Bitcoin that I mentioned. So as of November 2021, there are over 14,000 cryptocurrencies, and like during the last updated January, it can be more than 25,000 as of now, according to Coin Market Cap. That is the main aggregator in the blockchain ecosystem. So some of the main types of altcoin, including mining-based mechanism, stable coin, security tokens, utility tokens. So there are other types of altcoins available in the market. So the rest of the things are like use cases of blockchain. So I would request Mr. Parth to take it over.
Thanks, Neel. Yeah, am I audible now? Yeah, okay. So in this slide, like the brief about all the use cases that we will be introducing in all the next slides. So first one is the centralized and decentralized exchanges. So I'll take it over. Yeah, Next slide, please, Parth. Okay, starting with the centralized exchanges. So basic terminology of the exchange is, like buy, sell, and exchange. Like user can trade something on that exchange, right? Now that particular thing is available on the for the cryptocurrencies as well. The main point of the centralized exchange is the order book, right? So order book is something, like all the records that like user A has transferred something to user B, user B wants to sell something to user C. That all thing is being recorded in the order book, and it is a centralized. That means, like that entire thing is being stored on the backend. That means a database, a normal database, right? So that is the main point of centralized exchange. Like if you wanted to buy something, if you wanted to sell something, so all the data is being stored on the database. Now here the main like if you wanted to transfer something in the centralized exchange, so in the database uh, that particular entry won't be there. But what happens initially is, like as soon as you initiated any kind of transfer or deposit funds into onto exchange, so internally what happens, user that particular user will receive IOUs corresponding to amount. Like suppose normal example, if I wanted to deposit 100 rupees to any exchange, so like I'll receive 100 rupees worth of IOUs, and like it will be stored on the blockchain. Now at the time of withdrawal, my actual money will be come into the picture, and my account will be deposited to that particular 100 rupees. So that is the main agenda of the centralized exchange, because like not any kind of actual money involves into the database or in all kind of transactions. So like as soon as you deposit, your IOU will be registered to your user IDs and the backend, and at the time of withdrawal you will get your actual money. And the important character, yeah, can you please, yeah, important characteristics is regulation, centralized exchange. So like they have to be authorized to provide their services by the local governments, because uh, there are some rules and regulations definitely involved in this particular exchange, because like the fiat currency is involved. That is why. And the the famous examples are WazirX, Coin DCX, Coin Switch, and etc. And here the like Coin DCX, WazirX are from the India. The some of the companies have developed these kind of applications, centralized exchange one. Yeah, can you please go to the next slide? Now the decentralized exchange. So here the main terminology here is P2P. That means a peer to peer. Here peer means you can consider a one normal user or one normal party. One party wants something that so that he will coordinate with other party, normal. So every transaction takes place stored on the blockchain, because like a block where a blockchain comes, so definitely what do we say, we have to write a business logic, we have to write a smart contract and all those stuff. So that particular thing is working under hood in the decentralized exchange. And like there is no need of authorization KYC, because here all the funds are being managed in the one particular your wallet. That means like some of the classic wallet extension are MetaMask or kind of thing. So you have a wallet ID which is registered in the blockchain. In if you wanted to search, then you can search as well. And that with that particular wallet address you can do anything. So like if you wanted to buy with something, buy crypto with some other crypto, then you can exchange that particular crypto. So that is the exact meaning of the decentralized exchange. Okay, here the automated market maker, AMM, is a like protocol which is there behind the DEX, because like we have to provide a liquidity of each and every token. So like uh, if we have a token, like, and if you wanted to introduce on the DEX, so like like how user will get to know that okay, with this token exchange I'll get this token. So we have to define a liquidity pool of each and every tokens. So for that like AMM is there. And yes, one disadvantage you can consider, do not provide fiat payment. So like if you wanted to purchase any cryptocurrency with fiat payments in decentralized exchange. So that is not possible as of now. So you have some crypto tokens available in your wallet, and with the help of that token, you can exchange with other crypto tokens. And here the classic examples are Uniswap and PancakeSwap. You just have to connect the wallet, and yes, you can do all the exchange stuff there. So yes, that is the normal what do we say, yes, diagram. You can consider decentralized. You can see many peoples are involved, like peer to peer you can see. And decentralized is something, like there is a one server running, and like all the parties are connected to that server, a normal representation of that particular thing. Yeah, and now I would like to Mr. Neel to take over.
Sure. So coming towards the finance part, like finance is the main hero or the main focus of this session. So finances can be related to anything that includes monetary assets. So and blockchain, decentralized finance is an emerging financial technology that is based on the secure distributed ledgers, and it is used by cryptocurrencies. The system removes the control of banks and institutions, like in current stock market trades and all those things. The major institutions like any of the bank or RBI or the central authority plays a major role in this. So how DeFi attracts the consumers? So it eliminates the fee that banks and other financial companies take charge for using their services. You hold the money that is in the secure digital wallet instead of keeping in a bank. So there are regulations of the bank also, like how many assets you can transfer or how many things you can make. Also, anyone with an internet connection can use it without any needing of any of the approval, like doing KYCs or filling up any forms, like doing in a like having those much amount deposited first, then you can allow to used and all those stuff. You can transfer funds in seconds and minutes. That is for sure. Next slide, please, Parth. So DeFi uses emerging technologies to remove the third parties in the financial tech transactions. The main components of DeFi are stable coins, the software and hardware that are being used to develop that applications known as decentralized applications. The infrastructure of DeFi is regulated, are still under development and to be debated. Understandings of DeFi is like how it works, how it understand the centralized finance, and how it differs from the other DeFi part. Next slide, please. So to understand that, we need to first understand centralized finances. So in centralized finances, your money is being held by the bank and corporations which overcharge the goals to their main goal is to make the money, not let you make the money. That's why they are there. The financial system is full of third parties who facilitate money transaction between parties, and each one is charging fees for using their services. So if I'm transferring you, you might be I'm getting charged, you are also getting charged to take that money out. So yeah, for example, you purchase a gallons of using credit cards, they charge from the merchant and they charge you as well. Next slide, please. So the network clearing charge, requesting payment from your bank, the bank needs your approval, then approving after that the curing bank back goes back to the merchant. Each entity in the chain reserves the payments to his service. Like each and every transaction has been recorded in the banking ledgers, and they are like rolling out pays credit cards and debit card based on that. It is like money market as well. So other financial transactions cost money. Loan applications, they takes days to be approved. You might be not even use any of the bank application even while you're traveling, but in DeFi you can. You need an internet. So how does the DeFi work? So decentralized finance uses the blockchain technology that are cryptocurrencies, which are distributed, secured, and they can use via apps and all that. So in blockchain, the transactions are recorded in the blockchain, as Mr. Parthsarthy mentioned, and then is verified by the other users. Then verifier agrees the transaction. The block is closed, encrypted, and another block is like created that has information about the previous block. So it creates a chain with all those information. Then no one can, if anyone tries to break it, so that creates a separate chain. So even if it's hacked, the data doesn't get lost. So 99% of the time it is hack proof, but yeah, it's the possibility of that because of the introduction of the smart contract. So in DeFi, products are there like peer-to-peer financial transactions. Peer-to-peer transactions are like if I'm one person, I can transfer you the money. The main example of peer-to-peer is torrenting. I know torrenting is illegal in India, but the concept of torrent is based off peer-to-peer. Like there is one node that is emitting the data, and there is another node that is receiving the data, and all the nodes are in the sync to serve that data to the other hosting, all the other providers, and they does not take any of service fee for that. So in DeFi, your DeFi application is based upon an algorithm rather than having a database ledger or any of the person managing behind it that changes that algorithms over the period of time. Like if I want to change the percentages of my anything stocks or anything, they can change it. But in blockchain, the algorithm is written, predefined, and is on blockchain, and it is immutable, so it can be changed afterwards. So the transaction is recorded in the blockchain, and it verifies using that consensus mechanism, and all the things has been transferred to the ledger, and lenders and borrowers knows this. That brings us to the next slide, the future of DeFi. So decentralized finance is beginning in the States. It is, for starter, it is unregulated as of now, but as they are backed with algorithms, verifiable algorithms that even people are auditing, and all those stuff has been done, so they can trust that particular algorithm. So current laws were created based off the idea to separate the financial jurisdiction with the other DeFi applications and to create a set of regulations. So our government is still in the works of doing that, but in future it can be applicable in India as well. Next slide, please.
So basically now we're coming up with blockchain and real estate, right? So the idea behind this entire thing is any assets that you have, you can tokenize them, put it on blockchain, and then hence sell it to people through that. So with real estate specifically, like if you guys have seen, if someone's parents own houses or lands, you would have noticed that they're very illiquid assets. You cannot release land itna easily, you will not be sellable. So how will you actually, generate, if you're required urgent liquidity of money, you're not going to get that, right? So the advantage of tokenizing any real estate is you can now fractionalize it. By what that means is, if you want to suddenly generate cash, you can decide to sell 10% of your land or 10% of your house to someone else. And from a buyer's point of view as well, so all the benefits that happen in terms of the appreciating value of the property, any dividends that are going to come through that property, right? They will also get that as per the share of what they own. Okay, so this is one of the biggest things why, in terms of asset tokenization, blockchain is very helpful. Is it helps automate the entire process. You don't have to worry about, like currently, if I have to go buy a land, I have to go through sale deed, I have to go talk to some government ke third party aadmi, I have to pay him some bribe, I can, get the thing processed faster. With blockchain, all of these intermediaries are removed, right? So there is a contract that auto executes all the laws, all whatever is required, all the terms, it will auto execute that, right? So this is one of the very helpful, like if you've seen the current process of buying land and this thing, it's a tedious process. This makes it very simple and very easy. Okay. Now, pretty much like, and this, it is popular with real estate, but you can do it with any asset. You can start digitizing any of your assets this way. Now, one of the issues with tokenization of assets today is that we have a lot of regulations of our government and this and that we'd like to, it should help facilitate this. But with time, as blockchain is now getting into, people are actually adapting it. There are a lot of governments who've started. If you see the government of Thailand, Singapore, they've already started adopting it. Companies like EY, PwC are already working in this as well. So this is basically how assets are to be traded in the future. So yeah. Parth?
Yeah, thanks, Parth. Next slide, please. Blockchain. Yeah. So here in this slide, blockchain and legal, that means, like any kind of legal paperwork or something like that or similar to that. So I'll be giving that particular introduction. So yeah. So during this time of COVID, right? So you can you are familiar with, you know, like how the digital what digital applications introducing in the market, and daily new applications are being introduced on the, what do you say, Play Store or App Store or something like that. So that particular thing we can achieve in the blockchain itself, right? So what you know, like what do we say, yes, so if you wanted to store some legal information like paperwork, or you know, like any what do you, yeah, paperwork, something like that, or high court related any kind of documents, because in the high court or supreme court kind of thing, there are too many informations of one particular user of or many users, right? So like it's a very cumbersome process to find an old record. But with the help of blockchain or with the help of digitalization, so we can achieve in, you know, like fraction number of seconds. So like that is the, you know, like whole agenda of this particular use case. And here you can see paperless fillings. So that means, you know, like it is all about just filling the form, because you know, like the traditional application, we have to go in some stores, we have to take that particular form and we have to fill all the details, right? But now what happens nowadays, it's all becoming a digital part, where you know, like currently even though if this virtual court hearings and paperless filling, so everything is happening on this what do we say, digitalization form, right? So that particular use case we can cover it into the blockchain. The credit for the digitalization of courts can be traced back to the Supreme Court's committee headed by the Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. And you know, like growth towards the blockchain technology, we are already familiar with the boom of the blockchain technology. So each and every use case blockchain is trying to cover. And you know, like there are smart contracts available which can help to store this kind of legal information. Or you know, like if you want if blockchain wants to step in the legal sector, so that can be done as well. As I mentioned, smart contracts. So smart contract is basically nothing. For every each and every application, we have to prepare some business logics, right? So how the data is being stored on the blockchain, what kind of data should be there, what kind of validation should be there. So those kind of data we have to write in the smart contract. So, and yes, smart contract is the, you know, like mediator for the, you know, like the monolith application, and for the fetching the data from that and to store that data onto the blockchain. And you know, like one problem in the smart contract, if we wanted to, you know, like make our smart contract to coordinate or to, you know, like interaction with the real world, so that is the problem. And that problem is known as the oracle problem. But you know, the solution is already found. There are some open source oracle available whom we can, you know, like integrate with the smart contracts, and we can fetch the live real time data from the real world application, and that particular data we can store on the blockchain with the help of smart contracts. General applications, so like, you know, like exchange of documents between these agencies. So like the normal if that what the best traditional way is, so we have to store one particular document in very safe place, and you know, like we have to transfer that particular document with the, what do we say, to the other party. But the in the, you know, like blockchain kind of thing, you know, like we have to just share a wallet, and you know, like we have to just transfer that particular asset in a digital format to the other user. And that the flow and the transaction will be completed in, you know, like in matter like a fraction of seconds. So yes, that particular application and the trial. Yes, so now, you know, like the how can we what do we say, how can we introduce the blockchain in the legal? So electronic form, that is the first thing, that means a digital form. And the, you know, like what do you say, the court proceeding currently, you know, like there are too many discussions going on for introducing blockchain, legal blockchain in the India, because you know, like there are some people who are using blockchain, who are using cryptocurrencies in a illegal format. But you know, like there are some legal what do you say, discussion going on in the court. So once you know, like it become legal, so like it would be more easy or more convenient way to use blockchain in the legal sector. Can you please go to the next?
Yeah. So blockchain for accountants. So what is there in the accounting? Like I believe everyone knows here how to file a ledger and all those stuff and like paper format. But yeah, so what blockchain introduced to the accountants is like maintaining a ledger and all of the financial information and transferring of ownership, all those things in a verifiable manner on the blockchain, like baked into the design of blockchain technology. It becomes like data that has been there and it is become unbreakable, comes with unbreakable protection. So that allows also brings in the security for the accountants. Next slide, please. So what can be done for accountants? Like it can become like for auditors, blockchain has applications that in external audit, performing confirmation of a company's financial status, like underlying of status visibles, and can be done by the blockchain. The proposal would be like profound change the how audit actually works. A blockchain solution when combined with appropriate data analytics, yeah, using big data or all those stuff with the transactional level, it can be involved in audit, and the auditor skills would be spent at high level questionnaires and all those stuff. So how the profession can be led with the blockchain. So to move to a financial system with the significance of blockchain element, it can offer many opportunities in the accountancy part. Like accountants are seen as experts for record keeping, and also blockchain is used for like storing the records over the nodes and all those things, which can include the complex rules, business logic, standards, and all those settings. They have the opportunity to guide the influence how the blockchain is embedded and how it can be used in the future, and develop blockchain-led solution and enterprise level services. To become a truly integral part of the financial system, blockchain must be developed, standardized, optimized, and this process can take many years. Not, but I don't think it would take more than a decade or so, because looking at the current trend in the boom in the market. So, but there is still so much work to be done, and there are so many applications that are in this field, but they are, some of them are in proof of concept or some of them are beyond the proof of concept. So what can be the skills for the future? Like to part of accounting concern transactions assured, like blockchain and smart contract approaches. So the reduction can be reconciled to disputes management combined with increased certainty around the right obligations will allow the greater focus on how account and for the transactions and enable the expansion in the blockchains can be accounted for. So many current days accounting department processes can be optimized using blockchain, and other modern technologies such as data analytics, machine learning will increase the efficiency of accounting function in future. So what are the benefits or what are the perks in the accounting and blockchain? So as data auditing and accountancy largely depends on storage and recording of data, blockchain provides an automated immutable option for that. Blockchain technology eliminates use of entering accounting information into multiple databases or potentially removes the auditor reconcile, separates the ledger. So it would be stored in a one individual manner. So the ability to trust both the parties recording the same base of transaction informations and the real-time availability with accounting data offers immense benefits over the efficiency with accounting that can be reconciled and analyzed over the period of time. So blockchain has the potential to enhance the accounting profession by reducing the cost of maintaining, reconciling ledgers, providing absolute certainty over the ownership and history of the assets can be gone over that with the help of blockchain. So for crypto versus stock market, I would like Mr. Parth to take it forward.
Thanks, Neel. Okay, so like some investors in the room is having a big smile now. The stock market, yes, a favorite topic for all. So everyone is familiar with the term stocks because stocks represent the ownership in the publicly traded company. Yes, like any company can introduce their stocks in the stock market. And like why crypto, that means yes, the crypto is like introduced in the market kind of thing, which is known as a crypto market kind of thing. So we have tried like to explain you in a better visual representation way, so you can see in the right hand side who said crypto was stressful. I'm 25, I feel great, and that kind of stuff. So yes, Parth, can you please go to the next slide? Okay. The major similarities between crypto plus crypto and stock, the demand and supply rule, as we all are familiar with, you know, like sellers and buyer, if you wanted to create high demand, high supply, all that stuff. And you know, like cryptocurrencies and stocks are both types of investments and don't require large initial investment, as we are familiar with the stock options. So like if even if we wanted to what do we say, invest in stocks, so there is a no hard cap or high cap to, you know, like okay, this many amount we have to stake in somewhere, and after that we can invest into stock. You know, that is a that particular rule is available in the cryptocurrencies as well. You can invest n number of amount in the cryptocurrencies as well. Stock and crypto, okay, yeah, difference is something like, you know, like our nft sorry that's NSE one is uh, the opening timing is morning 9:15 and it will close to 15:30. But you know, like cryptocurrency is, you know, like there is a no time restriction. You can invest, you can deposit, you can withdraw, any kind of operation you can do in 24/7. And the stocks time lag for buying and selling delay, you are familiar with the some kind of classic exam classic applications for the stock options, stock buying option, right? There are some slightly time delays there, but cryptocurrency are, you know, like spontaneous, because you know, like there is a no delay, and it is a streamlined process. Just a normal transactions are you know, like happening in the blockchain. Stock exchange are centralized by RBI, but cryptocurrencies are completely decentralized. As you know, like we have used this particular decentralized word, you know, more than 100 times. So or because generally a blockchain itself are decentralized, so we don't have control. If we don't have a control over a blockchain, then you know, like all the use cases that is being introduced on the blockchain, so we can consider, you know, like it is pretty hard to take that particular control over the exchange or any kind of use cases. And next slide, please. Yes. So here the risk we have put, you know, like some differences on the risk factor kind of thing. So in the stock, you know, like risk factor generally stable, like generally stable with the stable economics. It is just about, you know, like we have to do some R&D about the companies and company past history and all that stuff, like his profitability and all that stuff. But you know, in the cryptocurrency, there is a highly volatile, because you know, like generally not backed by any asset or cash flow. So it can be, you know, like go from like to zero on all of the sudden. So yes, that is the main thing of the cryptocurrency in the stock market. But you know, like stocks over cryptocurrency, so stocks only available for, you know, like well established and registered companies. And you know, like if we want to introduce your company stock, then you know, like you have to go through some process, like legal process or something like that. And you know, like company has to go out of business for the stocks that will be worthless, while crypto can drop zero based on sentiments, as I have explained in the previous slide. Because you know, like crypto is not backed by any fiat currency, so it can be dropped to zero all of sudden. And you know, like it can be jumped from 0 to 1000 or 2000 all of sudden, as we all are familiar with the, you know, like bloodbath of the Bitcoin price drop down or all that stuff. So that is the classic example of the crypto. And yeah, asset are never lost when, yeah, that is the main important point here. Because you know, like stocks or for investing into the stock market, all we have is a, you know, like a demat account for, you know, like, and we can we can open the demat account in any bank, and that can be retrieved, like that can be retrieved, right? In like, yeah, there has to be some process. But you know, like in cryptocurrency, it is all based upon the wallet, right? So wallet, if you lost your private key, then you know, like it is impossible to retrieve that particular private key. Now if your private key is stolen, so you know, like that you will be in a great loss. Because you know, like if person has a private key, then they can do anything with your wallet. So cryptocurrencies over stocks now, you know, like decentralized nature of yeah, decentralized nature of cryptocurrency. Yes. And you know, like the time independent 24/7, as you know, like crypto markets are available 24/7, and you know, like easier to create an ICOs, initial coin offering, and instead of IPO. There are some, you know, like long process for, you know, like introducing your stocks as an IPO, but ICO we just have to write smart contracts and all that stuff, and like we can deploy that smart contract, and like for a time being that ICO will be open, and any user can like purchase that particular ICOs. Yeah, can you please go to the next slide, Parth? Yeah, Neel, can you please take it over?
Sure. So crypto collaterals. So crypto collaterals can be indirectly linked with the decentralized finance. Like it is a subset of decentralized finance. So crypto collaterals can be served as a lender's protection against the borrower's loan. So can be used to offset the loan if the borrower fails to pay the principal amount and the interest satisfactory over the terms of the lending agreement. So if the borrowers and the borrowing power fall below a certain level, the collateral is sold to collect the debt. That is how it is in the like current banking ecosystem as well. Also in the financial institution, that is the same thing in the crypto collateral as well. So if user declines to pay the loan, they unlock that collateral in the similar way that has been done in the financial institutions. Next slide, please. So in crypto collaterals, there can be flash loans. So what are loans you might be aware about? Like in the market is approved on the value of the collateral, not the borrower's credit score, like the based on the tokens I'm going on. If I'm going to have loan against my Bitcoin, it can raise higher value than other altcoins. So flash loans are more like experimental forms of decentralized lending that lets you borrow money without any collateral, providing any personal information. Like during in the centralized format, like in the financial institutions that has been some governed by some authority, it is made like you have to fill up the form, you have to have certain credit score to get the loans and all that, but that is not the value with the flash loans. It works on basis of like the loan is taken out and paid back within the same transaction itself. Like it can be paid back, the transaction reverse, like nothing ever happened. So in a single transaction, how this works is like you borrow X amount of an dollar asset, maybe let's say as Bitcoin at $1 from exchange A. You sell the X asset on exchange B for $1.10, and you pay back the loan to the exchange A. So technically you gain the bonus of like 10 cents over that transaction. So you keep the profit minus the transaction fee that has been cost for like doing the interaction on the blockchain. Next slide, please. So in lending, DeFi allows clients to loan their crypto to another person or acquire interest on the loans, like in the similar way banks do. So banks consistently have been using the system to the fullest. So why not we utilize for the crypto as well, or the blockchain ecosystem as well? So presently in the realm of DeFi, decentralized finances, as I mentioned, crypto collaterals are the subset of it. So anybody can turn into a lender. So it can be bringing back the things like if you are lending money to any person, I know, to the known person, but here you can be the anonymous person one. A loan provider can loan their assets to other people and gain interest of that loan. That the previous example I said, like you can earn profit from even lending or loan providing. So this process can be made possible through the lending pools. So pools are like a group of people providing a certain amount of liquidity in a certain uh, assets or like Bitcoin. So there can be Bitcoin's pool, there can be Ethereum's pool, there can be X amount of altcoin pools available on the market. So the supplied tokens are then sent to a smart contract. So smart contracts are basically a code or algorithm written on the blockchain to do a certain sets of instructions that has been coded into it using a language known as Solidity. So and that becomes available to the borrower. So for borrowing, collateral plays an important role. To get the loans, they need the offer to something more than important than the loan sum, i.e. collaterals. So smart contracts are utilized to store that amount of cryptocurrency of the amount equivalent to the sum of the loan. So the collaterals are accessible to the worldwide and they can see like, yeah, previous loans and all those stuff. Any crypto token can be used to trade and for the any of the borrowed currency. A smart contract that looks to the collateral loans across the user's account and calculate how much can be safely borrowed without getting liquidated immediately. So that may be some of the scamsters available, like you provide the pool and that pool goes down. So that is also a security risk for that. If the user decide to borrow fund or the value of borrowed amount must always be stayed lower than the what is the collateral factor, and also can be used for the longer period of time. Next slide, please. So if the value of collateral falls below the required collateral level, so user would have that collateral liquidated in order for the protocol to repay the bonus amount. So that can also be done by the smart contracts. The interest that lenders receive and interest that borrowers have to pay are determined with the ratio that is been supplied with borrowed tokens in the particular market. So if that can be X amount of ratios, that can be Y amount of ratio with respect to whichever decentralized application platform or the apps you are going to. Smart contracts that look at the collateral across the user's account and calculates how many amount of tokens can be liquidated immediately. Next slide, please, Parth.
Okay. So I was going through some of the questions. I saw there was a question from Mr. Jitendra about how actually this is going to affect the CAs and what are the skills that you'd have to learn. So the focus basically is, like, if you're thinking from CS point of view today, the companies that provide consultancy services, advisory, audit services like EY, KPMG, PwC, Deloitte, right? These companies have already started exploring these options in blockchain, because there will be companies now who will be shifting their interest towards blockchain. There'll be companies who will be changing their vision, which are already established companies. They want to now add blockchain to this thing. So again, they would require consultancy and advisory for the same, right? So as CAs, you would have to read about how actually blockchains are working. The audit part, like you guys complete the audit, there'll be audit of the contracts and how actually the contracts are functioning. So you'd have to understand that. There's a lot of aspects where if you understand the basics of blockchain to start with right now, because it's a space that is growing now. So there'll be a lot of opportunities, since all the companies, all the big four, everyone is getting into it now. You'll have a lot of scope to actually start working with them. Parth?
Yeah. So blockchain and decentralized, like blockchain is a wide topic, and like what's next is, like currently, as you are familiar or as you are hearing about the NFT platforms, NFT this and NFT that. So in 2021, like we had, like we have done lots of like we have received lots of inquiry about the NFT platforms, and regarding the NFTs we have done some discovery on the NFTs as well, and like we have made some projects live for the NFT kind of NFT marketplace. So like just giving a very brief about the NFT is a non-fungible token. So like it's a pure digital asset. You can read about that in the Google, like a good range of blogs, articles are available in the Google. So it is just like one person can sell that, put that NFT on sale, and like another person can buy that particular NFT if they like, like in terms of like cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrencies. And yes, in 2022, as we are all familiar with, like the metaverse, virtual reality kind of thing. So those two topics are currently in the like making a reputation in the blockchain domain. First thing, so NFT and metaverse, and like nowadays, like people are making NFT in the metaverse kind of thing. So like people are introducing the virtual land, and in that particular virtual land they are introducing NFTs as well. So those kind of platforms are widely available in the market as well. If you guys wanted to explore such kind of thing, so Decentraland is a classic example. We'll send you the link in the chat, so you guys can explore that, like what is the true meaning of the virtual reality and how that particular NFT fits into that topic. Yeah. Can you please go to the next slide? Okay. So we have tried our level best to educate you regarding the blockchain and decentralized kind of thing. But now we are open for a question and answer session.
Yeah, would like everyone to ask whatever queries you have. We'll try to resolve it. Anything is completely fine. There is no.
And also, if you want to know more about NFT, I've also conducted another session for the Google developer groups for the why NFT is a gold rush. I'm sending you the link for that. You can check it out later, and yeah, show some love on that as well. Sure. So You can unmute and ask us questions, right? Rather than we can have like one-to-one conversations as well.
Right. So if anyone is having any question, just member can raise the hand. We will unmute him or her. There is a question from Mr. Anand. Is NFT being used for money laundering also?
No, I don't think so. It has never been like reported as of now. Like NFT is not like used for money laundering. Like NFT is a kind of a digital asset. Like if you are creating an image and uploading it over the blockchain, it is like can be giving you a money, certain amount of money. But NFT is not like a monetary asset. It can give you money, it can give you gains, but it is not used for money laundering. So they are not like the actual tokens, like they do have a limited supply. And for simplest example, NFT is like an image of a Mona Lisa. So anyone is holding image of Mona Lisa that can be worth in millions and millions of dollars. But if I'm clicking that picture, creating the same poster, even if I'm drawing, that doesn't hold any certain value. So NFT and the cryptocurrencies are two different entities and assets.
There is one more question, that which authority to contact in case of any mishappening with blockchain data?
Parthsarthy, would you like to answer that?
Basically, there's no authority as such in order to contact for if you have lost any, you have some issue with your data, but you have to go to the company that is developing the blockchain. You can inform them, so they can actually figure out the source of what the actual problem is. But currently, it is extremely difficult to hack into this, because by decentralizing it, basically, it's not like the system, where you go to a bank, your bank actually holds the account. You just have, you hold the key in order to actually access whatever of your data is there on it. So until you lose your key, no one can actually really make any changes to it.
There is one more question. Since blockchain is decentralized, who holds the entire copy of data stored, and does each node has full stack or part of it?
Each node is having a copy of the entire data. So like, it's a completely decentralized. So, like if your node validates the, so, the actual data is stored on that particular node, and, like the replica of that particular transaction will be circulate over the blockchain. So like other validators will be having the copy of that particular data.
I think there's another question for what happens to nodes. So the idea is that all the nodes, that's what because it is decentralized, it is distributed, it doesn't need, because it's very unlikely that everything is not going to be working at the same time, right? So by distributing it, you remove that issue that happens with centralized systems, where it is controlled by one entity. So if one entity has some sort of an issue with the system, it affects the entire network.
And I wanted to add something in the Parthsarthy's answer. So like server, it's like a big thing, because like there are many DevOps kind of thing involved while making one particular node. And like there are some proxy servers, there are backup servers, and like in any unfortunate scenario, even if your main node goes down, like your backup node will be there to like that take that particular thing and like sync up with the blockchain. So like this particular like node do not get power supply kind of thing. So it's a very rare, because like nowadays AWS, Google Cloud, and those kind of what do we say, services are there, where we can like create our node, and we can set up that particular node for any blockchain.
I think there was another question about Decentraland. Yes, Decentraland is on blockchain. It's basically the metaverse that we were talking about, what is coming in the future. If you've seen, like Facebook also changed their name to Meta, because they're diverting their attention towards metaverse.
Like Decentraland is like a browser-based game, so you can create and borrow or land or anything. So you can also go into real estate part as well. Like on Decentraland, you can buy the amounts and all those things. So recently on Decentraland, people are buying land for like creating their stores on it. Like Samsung is also creating their stores inside of that metaverse. even some famous artists are buying lands on it, and people are paying millions and billions of dollars to become their neighbor on the metaverse itself. Like, yeah, the craze is real and the hype is real.
Any questions?
Yeah, please do ask like more questions. We would love to answer you, like, and some
So
of that.
one question of mine, how to become the validator?
So validating the blockchain. So in order to become a validator, there are like certain consensus mechanisms there. So one of them is like proof of work. So in order to do that, you have to do some solving of complex algorithms or problems that your system has to do in order to become mine some token. And for mining the token, you get some rewards, right? So another thing for validators would be that the consensus proof of stake. So you just stake a certain amount of token to the smart contract, and for earning validating any of the transactions towards the blockchain, that will also give you rewards and help you term in the mining and all those stuff. So while using the staking, and also there are some staking pools, you can become the validator.
Yeah,
And you
because
should have the
currently,
hardware.
currently Ethereum 2.0 is introducing in the market, and like they are migrating from POW to POS. So, and the main basic condition is you have to stake at least 32 Ethereum for becoming a validator. So that is the first rule. And after that, like any transaction will come to your node, and your node has to validate that particular transaction. So you will be rewarded by some Ethereum.
Yeah, but it's really high prices on Ether, which seems
Some
unreasonable.
artificial land NFTs for such high prices recently.
So it basically depends on demand and supply, Mr. Anand. So how this works is that, like, if someone is really looking to buy you a certain image, it depends on like artwork. You go to the museum, there are like art pieces there. So consider NFTs as a digital artwork that will allow multiple number of people to show their skills. It is not limited to the pricing of a particular NFT. So it can be also vary for branding itself. As I mentioned for the example, like companies like Samsung is also buying lands in metaverse. So they are like using it for advertising purpose. So if they are getting it for something cheap as of now, it won't be as much as cheaper what they are paying for as of moment. But in returns, they will be getting more of that in returns after certain areas. Right? They are just investing it into early. So that's why the pricing are being increased, and yeah, so they're high prices.
One more question is there, like Sarya, okay, till cryptocurrencies are backed by proper physical asset, which is further regulated by governments, then it makes sense to use crypto. So in crypto market, like there is a one terminology known as the stable coins. So stable coins are there as well, who is actually backed by, like the actual fiat currencies. The crypto name is USDT. That means a tether. That is a coin name, and like it is a backed by USD, and that is a we all know the USD, right? US dollar. So if your US dollar price goes down, your crypto like tether coin price will go down, and if your dollar price will go up, your crypto price will go up. So that particular term known as a stable coin. But like there are a limited amount of number of stable coin available in the market, and like stable coin generally comes into two ways. Either we can backed by the fiat currencies, or either we can backed on any kind of like gold or silver or something like that.
I think, yeah. So the question that was asked. So basically, the idea behind cryptocurrencies is probably, like I was mentioning initially, there'll be a lot of cryptocurrencies over the down the line in the time they won't be available. They probably will die out and they won't be available. It's the same situation as you have to identify in today's state. All of these companies, all of that are launching their cryptocurrencies, they are all backed by their technology. So if you believe someone's technology is bigger, those cryptocurrencies will last. Like for example, one of the things is, since Bitcoin is the pioneer in this, there's a lot of expectation around Bitcoin will become something like store of value the way gold is today. So you will, a lot of people will start buying, Bitcoin and actually holding it because it's an asset which they actually believe will always appreciate in value, the way gold does today, right? And with respect to NFTs, yes, NFTs are very popular today, but that is also because there's a trend and hype at the moment with NFTs. And the technology behind NFTs about how it stays non-fungible is really valued when it comes to other assets, not just the artwork and this thing that you see on other platforms. Even with real estate, any other assets probably will get stocks also through, you're able to buy. Companies will start launching a percentage of their shares through cryptos. So there also NFTs actually play a very important role.
Yep. To add to it, like the Gen Z, the next generation of people, the people who are like playing here, like online games, like Battlegrounds Mobile India, or maybe Call of Duty or anything, or the gamers and such. So they might be aware of this term. Like you used to purchase skins in the game, like that doesn't have any value in real life, but yeah, in game it has a value, or in reality it is just a skin. But yeah, inside of that particular application or that particular metaverse, it can have a certain value. So that will also allow like increase on buying or selling of stocks or things. So maybe there is also one use case in future, like also stocks can be incentivized as NFTs as well. So there is one use case too.
I think there was a question about why it's becoming difficult to validate transactions in Bitcoin. It's because the Bitcoin mining has become so high that there are so many people in queue to actually, they're ready to actually validate the transactions. So because of the higher competition, it's becoming more difficult for an individual to validate the transactions.
Also, the supply of Bitcoin is like limited, 21 million. So like also already there are like 11 billion mined as of now. So as the circulating supply increases minus the total supply, also the competition will be increased. So in after certain year, so let's take an example. Before few years, like it was not in the boom as of now. So we can also mine Bitcoin using like 2 or 3 of the laptops. Like there was no heavy equipment required to mine Bitcoin. But as the competition grew, as the circulating supply getting increased, people are getting knowing into blockchain, what is Bitcoin, and all the rewards they might be getting for it. So they started mining. So that bring more rush, more competition in this mining ecosystem. So there are more systems available versus the equivalent required. So that is why it is hard to get into like validated Bitcoin.
I think there's a question for which to invest in. It completely depends on the amount of investment and the time period you're looking to invest. If you're looking to make short-term gains, you should go with altcoins. But if you are in it actually for the longer run, then you should invest in Bitcoin.
So I have a different approach for this. This is not a financial advice. Please don't quote me on this. So if you are really looking into investing into Bitcoin, you should also look into like the coins that are providing certain value. So you should do your own research before like investing into a particular thing. So what my portfolio as of now looks like is like 50% Bitcoin, 25% of Ethereum, and other 25% of the altcoins that can provide a value after maybe 2 years of time, 3 years of time, or decade over time. I'm in for the long run, not for the short-term gains.
We have one more question from Nipun Rathi. Just I am unmuting him.
Yeah, just a quick question. I just wanted to understand with the commitments of data localization and data being the new oil. So doesn't it serves the purpose for which Bitcoin and the concept is being done?
Parth, would you like to answer that?
Sorry, if you don't mind, can you repeat the question?
Sure.
Yeah, so data being the new oil, every government is trying to localize the data, the servers and the commitment of data centers and all. So I just wanted to understand, doesn't it serves against the purpose of this technology of Bitcoins and cryptos there?
More than serves, it's basically trying to highlight that in this internet age of so far, right? Few companies like Facebook, Google have made so much money by keeping the data. So the governments now do not want that, right? So they want to localize data so that they can actually monetize it. right? So this actually affects them as well, because now they also cannot monetize this, because we're saying that by decentralizing, we're making it available to everyone, just like that. So.
Also, one more point to add, it's in the chat. It's like, since the Chinese government is cracking down miners of crypto due to power surge, do you feel one should go for mining in India, specifically Ether? It depends. To mine Ether, you can also mine it at like lower scale of time. Like I have certain people in my team doing the mining, and we have also set it up some mining rigs. Also, cloud mining ecosystem is there for certain clients, right? So it is not yet there in India, but we are not even clear what regulations can be introduced as of now. So let's wait and watch and introduce mining. Mining would be there for sure. Like people are doing mining without even guidelines, but after guidelines are clear, we can get a better idea what the futures look like for miners.
Yeah, because for setting up the infrastructure for miners, it will cost a good amount of money as well.
Also, there is one question for you, Mr. Parthsarthy. Should I disinvest my investment into crypto and hold it, or like should I invest it in Cardano or Tron? What are your suggestions, please?
I think, like we were saying, that these are currencies that you can invest in but you'd have to read up about it, see where its actual value is, and then go for it. But at the moment, since there's a very downfall, so probably shouldn't sell it, because you would probably bought it for higher right now. Yeah. I think that is pretty much.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. We have a question from Anant also. Will the budget clear this speculation? So I think, Mr. Anant, we need to talk to finance minister for that. I think this is not the right platform. कि budget में क्या आएगा क्या नहीं. So I would like to thank all the speakers. Mr. Neel Banker, thank you very much. Mr. Parth Kaloliya, thank you. Mr. Parthsarthy, thank you very much that you have given your spare time. And the today's session, we all have learned that what exactly and how things are going on. So thank you, and I would also like to thank the convener of the program, Mr. Amit Sethi, Mr. Manoj Totla, and Priya Vijay. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, every participants. Thank you.